Good morning, Uganda. Welcome back from Tourism Express and the Business Desk. It's time for the agenda. My name is Julie F. Nataba. And this morning, we are looking at the journey to Uganda's $500 billion economy by 2040. What are the priorities? What are the challenges? Now, last year, a report by the National Planning Authority envisioned that the economy would expand to a GDP of $581 billion, with 90% of Ugandans fully integrated in the money economy by 2040. During his acceptance speech, that is acceptance of the result from the recently concluded general elections, President-elect and current President of Uganda said that in this new Kisanja, he is going to be tough. First and foremost, to make sure that Ugandans, the remaining 30% of Ugandans in the poverty line, get into the money economy, but also will be tough on leaders who do not follow up on all government programs, and to make sure that service delivery is effective and key. And will also be tough on the issue of corruption. What are the priorities? What are the challenges when it comes to the journey to Uganda's $500 billion economy by 2040? Having this discussion with me this morning is Dr. Chalimpa Paul, who is an entrepreneur and mobilizer investments and wealth creation for prosperity. Be part of the conversation, 0709 602 592, and engage. Ask that question, share your opinion. Let's learn and learn as we relearn from each other. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, my dear.
It's a pleasure having you this morning.
Thank you very much.
Right. And for this conversation, for purposes of context and relatability for our viewer, give us a background. I understand it's 15 years left to the achievement of the 2040 gap, but where did all of this begin?
Uganda, like any other country within the globe, and especially East Africa and East Africa, wants needs to compete and to keep pace with the rest of the world. There are global challenges that Uganda needs to address, or Uganda needs to keep abreast with. One is the globalization in terms of commercial activities. Today, when you produce your products, if you provide services, the market is open globally. So this means that it doesn't mean that Ugandans can sell only to the rest of the world. It means the rest of the world can sell to Uganda. So it means there is open competition for services and products. Two, in terms of limitations, Uganda, if you look at what we are able to enable our Ugandans to produce or to provide services, we have a lot of limitations, which would enable us, which if handled, could help us to be competitive globally. One of them is limited infrastructure. The infrastructure that is important for business, one, is high cost of power or electricity. If you are producing at a very high cost, so it means you are attaching this to your products or the services you offer. Now, that means you are less competitive with the rest of the world. So government set a target to reduce low cost of power as part of the infrastructure, to make sure that that you produce at least the cost of power is at 5 cents per kilowatt. Now, that means you have to improve efficiency in terms of power generation, distribution, and also we have to increase consumption to cover up the cost of production and distribution. The second one is the cost of transportation. Now, relying on the roads infrastructure in the long term is not viable because you have high costs of maintenance. Government set out to establish the standard gauge railway and also rehabilitate the meter gauge railway to make sure the network for all our products or goods, which will move, for example, from the coast to Uganda, they move very fast, so that we save on the time, but also we don't have much effect on our roads. If you look at the road coming from Kenya, from Mombasa to Uganda here, the Ginger Road. You have to do periodical maintenance. There's high traffic, and you have to do high cost of maintenance. So when you move goods from road transport to the railway, with lower cost. And for the long term, you have high cost of investment in the initial in the short term, but you have a lot of benefits in the long term as you lower cost of transportation. But also the meter gauge railway would allow movement of these other products, especially from rural areas or districts or regions, to the one with the electric train, which you call the meter gauge railway, the standard gauge railway, which is faster than the meter gauge railway. But also want people to be able to move using the standard the railway because it's low cost, and also helps individuals who would have put a lot of money, for example, to have their own means of transport, like vehicles. But others also issues of risks of accidents, etc. So it ensures that the money you would have invested in getting your vehicles as means of transport, you can invest it in other businesses. The other challenges are high cost of financing, business financing, especially for investment for industries. They need currently the cost of financing with Uganda Development Bank is 12% per annum. That is very, very, very high. And other countries, you would find that they are at 1.5, between 1.5 and 4%. So it means we are not competitive. So we have to look to mobilize money in terms of percent capital. And this money cannot, the challenge we have is that we borrow the money which we lend again to Ugandans. But the magic is in mobilizing local resources in terms of savings. If you have an investment bank, a national agriculture and commercial bank, then you can mobilize the resources which you can be able to lend out to industries. We have NSSF currently, it is the main provider. But if we build other infrastructure or other avenues to do saving mobilization, so that you can allow more Ugandans to access competitive low-cost financing, that would make us very, very competitive. Now, those are the key bottlenecks. The other one, the last one, is not only for Uganda, it is regional and Africa, which is access to a bigger and competitive market. Now, Ugandans, as Uganda, we are surrounded by for example, DRC Congo, which is in conflict, South Sudan, which has challenges, Somalia, which is not stable, Burundi, which is starting to stabilize, Rwanda, which is stable, but is now currently at conflict with the DRC Congo. They have some misunderstandings. Now, we have Kenya, we have Tanzania. Now, we are working on East African community, which is a bigger market in terms of the region. But if you don't address the political challenges they are having, the instability, you don't have this competitive market which you need. And then, by the time you say you export in other bigger markets like EU, they have a lot of restrictions and demands. But these other regional and national markets are easier to access for East Africa and Africa, as when you compare them with international markets. So we have a lot to do as a country and as a region to ensure also economic, political stability, security of our neighbors, so that we can have access to the regional markets. Right.
Thank you very much for that preamble. If you're just joining in, Dr. Chalimpa Paul is an entrepreneur and mobilizer investments and wealth creation for prosperity. He's having this conversation with us as we look at the journey to Uganda's $500 billion economy by 2040. What are the priorities? What are the challenges? Therein, in his preamble, he has stated some of the challenges therein, and of course we'll be digging deeper into them. But before we go any further, allow me to read a message that has just come through, and it reads that Uganda is aiming high, targeting a $500 billion economy by 2040, focusing on 4 key sectors: agro-industrialization, tourism, development, mineral-based industrial development and science, technology and innovation, STI. To achieve this, priorities include expanding access to affordable credit, deepening financial inclusion, and strengthening private sector capacity. The government's tenfold growth strategy involves increasing investments in infrastructure, human capital, and technology. They are also working on improving the business environment, promoting exports, and attracting foreign direct investment. However, challenges like corruption, limited technology advancement, and climate change might hinder progress. Climate investments are crucial. The government must explore green finance options to hit the target. This is Ramadan Karim. Oh no, you say Ramadan Karim to all Muslim communities. Shaban Ali in Soroti community. And I love how he has stated the achievements, how this is to be achieved, the priorities rather, but also the challenges in there, especially focusing on green financing. I would love for you to just hold on to your comments regarding this, but I know there's a lot of commentary you have on there. But before we get there, over the first 15 years, we are left with 15, but the first 15 years, what has so far been achieved to help Ugandans look forward to the 2040 goal?
Maybe what you can look at, the achievements are enormous in terms of setting the foundation for these targets. Yes. First and foremost, we have the road infrastructure. The road network for all the regions is accessible. So if you are involved in production and providing services, you can access every region or sub-region of this country. The road network has been worked on. Two, we had power instability in terms of frequent load shedding. Today, that is minimal, and it happens only selected areas for particular reasons of especially infrastructure upgrade or maintenance. But we have now adequate power. We just need to invest more in the power efficiency in terms of generation and transmission. The other one, which is very fundamental, which sets the ground for all the other achievements, is the peace and stability. Uganda currently is at peace. Anybody from outside Uganda, within Uganda, is able to do their own business, provide their services, when nobody is affecting them or is interfering with their security and stability. And we need to utilize that as a big asset. But we have gone on to support the rest of the East African or African countries in supporting them to also have peace within the region. Why? Is that we need the regional or African markets, and instability or insecurity in the neighboring country is insecurity soon in your own country. We have moved on to have an achievement in terms of education. We have a number of younger graduates who are proficient in English, in technology, and who are fast learners, even if you need to train them. And so we have very many graduates, both at the technical level, TVET, vocational technical and education training, also graduates from universities. And also Uganda has moved ahead, is one of the leading countries in East Africa, especially when it comes to technology training. So we have many IT or technology-driven graduates. And if you can take advantage of that, we can have specific projects which can help Uganda beyond the map and generate a lot of revenue. Like you hear these applications, like you hear the social media application, like WhatsApp, you hear of X, Facebook, etc. Right. Uganda, we have moved ahead in terms of oil exploration, and now we are moving to production stage. And this will give us the boost that is needed to invest in key sectors or key priority projects, especially the standard gauge railway and the habitation meter gauge railway. We give us adequate money to invest in Uganda Development Bank for patient capital at low cost for those involved in value addition to drive industrialization. They give us the necessary financing to be able to invest more in skills-based education, TVET, technology, and then boost also our security, because it is strategic for the country. Then the other achievements is that now we have more industries or factories. That sector has improved. We have more industrial parks, which government has set for and has given a lot of free land to local and foreign investors to invest. Now they need boosting in terms of low-cost power, and the oil and gas, I think, will help us to also to invest in the technology to increase our power and production generation, as well as to lower the cost of production and transmission, so that we can achieve the 5 cents cost of power as set by government as a key priority, so that we become very competitive. And in the tourism sector, Uganda we now have improved access to all our tourism sites. We have improved our marketing. We have ensured strengthened peace and security for tourism, and there are a lot of infrastructure and social and amenities for tourism, including hotels, all the required transport and other amenities required for the tourism sector. And then in terms of government systems, governance, Uganda is stable in terms of governance. If you talk about elections, post-election, environment management, and then we have focused leadership in terms of facilitating private sector growth and effective and efficient government service delivery. Although we need to improve in combating and improving allocation of resources to key strategic projects that derive more value, monitoring of government financed projects so that they produce more impact, and also galvanizing the government leadership so that they take on their mantle of supervising and supporting the key infrastructure projects for government, and also supporting the private sector to be a key driver that generates the revenue needed to finance government projects, and also promote, create more jobs, promote, improve business efficiency and competitiveness, so that we have prosperity in terms of by having more products and services produced and also marketed in Uganda and the region and globally. Right.
Now, according to the report that I started with a few excerpts from it, that is by the National Planning Authority, it also states that the country is lagging behind the desired socio-economic transformation targets. And in your perspective, what do you think is causing this lag? We're left with 15 years to make sure that this lands $500 billion economy by 2040. But what do you think is lagging or has lagged for the past 15 years and should be improved or dealt with as we move forward?
When you talk about the socio-economic transformation targets, let's look at the number of Ugandans who are involved in productive employment. So when you compare, when you look at how many Ugandans who are involved in gainful employment, one is that you appreciate that we have about 47% of Ugandans who are involved in employment, gainful employment. But of these, 70% is in agriculture. Now, but the type of agricultural practice is not grossly or largely commercial. What is commercial is at a very small scale, and it's based on seasons. And the seasons, although we have 2 seasons, rain seasons, sometimes there's a variation in seasons. And also, in terms of productivity, the available land size for households to produce is very small. And therefore, since we rely mainly on rain, and natural rain, and we are not involved in irrigation, so we don't have all year round production. So we have a lot of time which is wasted where we are not producing.
Right.
Because if you applied irrigation, we would be producing every day, every month.
Right, right.
Take for example, if you are involved in the production of growing of tomatoes, and you are in production of tomatoes. Now, you will have a season or a month, some months, when you have tomatoes, oranges, onions, and other, as many of these basic products are imported from Kenya to Ugandan market. Even if you go to Nakasero, you'll find most of them there.
Yes.
And in these hotels and serious restaurants, there are a lot of imports from our neighboring countries. Do you know why that is so? Is that our farmers, one, are not organized to work and to do farming as a group or associations. Two, they don't apply technology in terms of irrigation and high yielding varieties, and the crop and the pest resistant varieties. Three, they don't have access to agriculture financing, which is available at low and affordable cost. So if you are contracting a supplier, you must get someone who can supply you consistency throughout the year, because customers want the products every day.
Yes, that's true.
If you're in a hotel. So you find you have to compete it. And for us, we come to the market as visitors only during the 2 seasons of the year. So by having 70% of those in gainful employment, but when the employment we are talking about is seasonal,
it's a challenge.
it means the production capacity is low.
It's low, yeah.
And also the income is not constant. Two, those in substantial employment, most of them now, because they are the ones who are carrying the load of the rest of the Ugandans who are not in gainful employment, especially the youth. So you have high burden in terms of looking after other Ugandans, in terms of their basic needs, survival, in terms of education, in terms of housing, in terms of feeding, etc. This becomes a very big challenge. We have many graduates who are not employed now, but these people are willing to work and are employable. And if we revolutionize education and make skills training compulsory within our education system, even post training, post education, including those who are not even in school, then, and you provide them specific business packages of training and mentorship, and you give them some equipment. If you are, for example, in a motor vehicle or auto repairs and maintenance, and they will give them some startup toolkits and financing, we can have most of the younger people involved in gainful employment, and therefore they will help. They will reduce the burden of those who are looking after them, and they also contribute to the national treasury or the revenue, and that will help us to have more people involved. But the other bigger part is the role of national leaders in terms of ideological mindset, changing the mindset of Ugandans in their own areas of leadership. For example, how many members of parliament do you have? 500 and what? 500.
30. I'm forgetting the
39.
about there, yeah.
Yes. Now, me, I'm looking at that as an army of mindset change, influence, who are one helping the people to focus on production or provision of services, helping channel government efforts and resources towards the right people, helping people to know about the available market opportunities. They themselves leading by example, by setting up enterprises that generate revenue. We have, for example, in our villages, some leaders, 2 of them in our region in Bunyoro. One is the Right Honorable the Prime Minister Nabanja.
Right.
So has set up an agriculture enterprise, which is a model farm. On that model farm, you can go and learn for free. Two, you have seedlings, for example, this season for coffee. You have banana suckers, which is of high breed, good breeds. So by setting up a training and demonstration center, that helps farmers to be able to learn and also get the right inputs of breeds for their farms. The same with Honorable Biamukama, the Minister of State for Transport. He has set up a model farm, 4-acre model. So, and many of our farmers and farmer groups are able to go and learn, and it gives them this support to be able to start. And the farmers who have engaged in commercial agriculture, like rearing of these animals, the birds, and then those who are involved in milk production, those in coffee, he provides, for example, support in terms of for the coffee farmers, helps them to be able to add value to their coffee by removing the coffee husk. So that you can say that a higher value.
Right. For
those who have the eggs, who are involved in poultry farming, it helps to aggregate the eggs and helps them to get the market. Those who are selling the chicken, the broilers and layers, helps them to access the market. Now, this is exemplary leadership, which we would expect to want from each and every leader in their own constituency, be it LC5, be it a councillor. Now, originally or traditionally, when we were growing up around in the 79, 80s, in 80s, that time each household had a target of how many tons or kilograms of coffee you had to produce, and you had to select at least 2 commercial products. You had coffee, cotton, tobacco, and tea. You had to select 2, and based on the advice of the agriculturalists or extension farmers for the government, they would say our soils in this area is good for coffee and cotton. So each household had to have a number of acreage for these commercial products, for commercial products. So today, that is not there. The leaders leave people to act or to make their own independent decisions, whether they are involved in production or not. They don't care. They mind about their votes. For them, they go and
that's very true. And from your submission, 2 things come out for me. One, when it comes to model leadership.
Yes.
I mean, from the examples you've rightfully stated, Honorable Nabanja and the State Minister for Agriculture, for Transport,
yes,
having those model farms that expose markets to the ordinary Ugandan. Lately, it's even harder because many of the MPs, as we've seen on ground, are either just part of events within their constituencies, either burials or maybe scenes, dramatic scenes. And one would wonder, how best do you think this vision altogether could be translated in the easiest way to an ordinary person, for them to also catch the vision, for an ordinary Ugandan to catch the vision? How possible do you think it can be done?
There are 2 things. One is, if you look at our current leadership, that is the parliament, that's at national level, parliament, local government level, LC5 council, and LC3. Leaders we need to review the responsibilities of the leaders, to include mobilization of communities to be involved in economic activities. And we also need to set targets for leaders, for example, members of parliament. What are their targets? And we need to assess or to evaluate these leaders based on those targets, including more especially those that mobilize people for economic activities, especially economic transformation, the generation of income. And the president also needs to appoint leaders and keep counseling them and give them the orientation and training.
Right.
At the beginning, show them what their mandate is. And that not only talking in parliament, because if you have over 500 members of parliament, and your job is to debate in parliament, to sit in committees and evaluate different proposals and all that. But when the core, in terms of the strength of a nation, which is in its ability to have its citizens get involved in economic activities, where they are selling goods and providing services and generating income. And from that income is where government earns the taxes. And from that, the taxes where government provides the services for improved service delivery. Then you as a leader, you have not done your work if you don't help the people. The second model, the second thing we need to do is at a level of support to model farmers or business people. I started the model farmers. Now, in each sub-region or each district, we have farmers or entrepreneurs at different levels. Now, if you have those farmers who are involved, for example, in milk production and processing and value addition, you need to attach or connect them, support them to work with other individuals who are either individuals or in groups to be able to do pooling, to have, for example, one milk collection center in a sub-county. If government provides financing, and those farmers who are involved, for example, in commercial farming, especially for milk production as a key product, giving them financing at low cost or free for express milk collection facilities. If I know that if I produce my milk, there's where it's going to be kept safely and it's going to be taken to the market. I've already the primary motivation to look after my cows, which are giving me the milk.
Right.
Two, if you have entrepreneurs who are buying cereals, like in northern Uganda, like soya bean, and then government finances, capitalizes with low cost, with low interest rate financing those entrepreneurs who are buying the soya bean and adding value to it. That is a motivation and a promotion of cereals soya bean in northern Uganda. So if you have also other industrialists who at the national level who are packing, adding value and exporting, and then you help them access additional financing on condition which is or target to the target on how many farmers or tonnage you buy from local Ugandans to add value.
Right.
That will help now to transform the economy.
That brings me to also the ATMs. I love the example you shared that growing up, households had targets.
Yes.
How much coffee to grow, how much coffee to have.
Yes.
In this day and age, it's rather a challenge. And when you talk about agriculture, well, is still a very huge backbone for Uganda's economy. But you find that especially the youths, they are not as involved in agriculture. And that's why I think the specialization of the ATMs and the regions they perform best in each now speaks loudest, that agriculture could perform well in a particular region, but tourism is way better in another. Technology is way better in another. How do you think the youth can be engaged to participate at community level in all these ATMs at a layman language, ordinary man language? How do you best do you think youths can be involved?
It is important to understand the ideological, educational, and social lifestyle of the current youth. The current youth like smart businesses.
That's true, that's true. And quick.
Yes, one, if you have to involve them in agriculture, they want technology-driven agriculture. They will do your poultry, farming, whatever, if you have the equipment and machinery that processes the feeds. They operate it, they run it. If you're operating your farm with a tractor, they operate it, they do it. If you are doing value addition with equipment, but you can't take them to do the hand or use the hand.
Hand hoe, yes.
And that is backward. They will do for you the irrigation. We have specialists in irrigation farming. So they will do that. Then, if you look at the youth who have gone through training, or education and training, they have different specialties. If you are dealing with applications in terms of technology, software development, if you are talking about social media or online marketing, you'll be on top of that agenda. Now, what drives interest of the youth is where does the money lie? And can you train them and equip them to be able to adapt and give you the value produce or deliver the service? That's what we need to do only. So the youth in Uganda are trainable and are flexible. So long as you show them there is money there. Even if it is bricklaying, you do it in a good way that helps them to get the money, they will do it.
Right.
Yes. So they are not, their challenge is labor intensive. If you need to use a lot of manpower, they are less competitive in that area, and they are not less interested.
Right.
But if you are using technology, even if you are working for extra hours, even if you're working at night, they're able to work with you so long as they earn a living or money from there. But as we talk about that, as Uganda, we mapped up a lot of opportunities which we have to take advantage of. One of them is the oil and gas. But oil and gas not as a long-term opportunity, it is a mid-term opportunity because it gets exhausted.
Right.
But it gives us the initial capital for investment in other priority areas. Two is tourism. Because Uganda, we are endowed or blessed, and naturally, we have the rivers, we have the mountains, we have the animals, we have the birds, we have all these features. Now, we have to maximize investment and marketing in tourism. We have the minerals, including gold, and others which are not yet explored. The investment from oil and gas should help us to invest in these minerals. And the special government can take up some of these projects as a national project instead of leaving them to the private sector. We talked about abundant labor force, which was also identified. Geographical location for trade. Then you have the water resources, for especially for aquaculture,
right?
The fish farming. And then we have abundant, we have the two seasons for agriculture. Now, those are the opportunities which were mapped during the assessment when we worked on the plan for 2040.
Right.
Those are the opportunities we needed to harness. But now, if we are asking ourselves, what has the government and the people of Uganda not done that needs to be done?
And therein, I ask that now we begin to conclude this conversation, because if we look at challenges like corruption, limited technology, climate change, which is a very big problem, as our viewer here rightfully stated that we need to explore green financing. Please, from these challenges that have been shared by the viewers and to that very, very statement that you made, what has not been done that needs to be done, and what is going to be done in order to achieve this by 2040?
Basically, there are one, if you look at the priorities and opportunities, everybody understands the challenges we have, and they knows the opportunities there. The first challenge you have had and which you need to address, we have not done prioritization of public financing or investment. You need to prioritize, not to allocate money generally to make everybody happy. I'm not against PDM, for example. But I'm saying, can we agree on specific subsectors that we are financing, so that we provide adequate financing resources to these people? If you give me 1 million in my village as a household, and I start poultry farming, where am I going to sell my eggs? Where am I going to buy the feeds for the poultry? Quality feeds. Where am I getting the inputs? You're hanging. Now, we need to look at the key drivers of the value chains. Before we give someone money to set up a poultry farm. That's why I told you about aggregation and supporting, for example, the model farmers, who will help to be a cornerstone, support all the other smallholder farmers. So we need to prioritize our investments so that we achieve efficiency and effectiveness. We don't allocate money everywhere. We need to select few sectors or projects. We invest them finance them adequately, so that we can have fruits and bear impact. Otherwise, if you allocate money there and we don't complete the entire value chain, then we will not have the maximum impact we want. As I've said, we give you money for PDM. Each of you is involved in your own enterprises, but you don't have somebody to aggregate, help you to transport, to put together, whom you are consolidating the outputs, like the eggs or the milk, and then taking it in the bulk to access the competitive market, and also do value addition. Then that is a wasted money or resources. So we need to do prioritization of public financing and investment. The second one, we need to select magic bullet projects. For example, in agriculture, if you do fish farming or aquaculture, globally in Uganda, given the water resources we have, the lakes, rivers, and whatever, we will be on top. This is Lake Victoria you are seeing, Lake, this is George, Albert, etc. Government should be full of agriculture projects, including flowers farming. We should be on top of that. Technology projects, like developing application of softwares. Only one software, like you have had X, you have had WhatsApp. Do you know how much tax goes to America, these other countries, where they are hosted? Globally, everybody who is tweeting, who is WhatsApping, is paying money to the country where the innovators are and where this is hosted. So if we invest in technology and we produce at least every 5 years 2 softwares which are marketed globally, so government will have the tax or the revenue it needs collecting it globally. We have to focus on key products like Kira Motors. Currently, I should be driving, I'm involved in transport business for buses, taxis, trucks. I should be having a bus for Kira Motors. What do we need to do? To invest there so that you produce the bus, but you also produce the spare parts and train those who are going to do the repairs and maintenance. If it breaks, I get the spares. If it breaks, you have trained people who, and you have the workshops. And you should be the ones supplying the buses in Africa. We have not given it adequate financing, a constitution, and a focus. Another person will come with an innovation and do it better than us, and this project will collapse. In Uganda, we have mining, especially, for example, gold. We have minerals. If you focus on mining like gold and they have refinery, all the gold in DRC, all these minerals, where there is conflict, should be processed in Uganda.
All right.
And the market should be from Uganda.
Wow.
And what are we doing? Government revenue projects. Government should have its own revenue projects, including, for example, this city transport system should be run by government, the railway, the power system.
Right.
Full commercialization of agriculture, having quality inputs by narrow. Why do we struggle so much to import quality inputs when you have narrow here? And we can finance it, and we give because we buy the quality inputs.
Right.
We provide value addition, and we have specific cash crops like coffee, cocoa, fish. We have the milk.
Right.
Value added and at global level.
Now, Dr. Chalimpa, I wish to have you another time because time is such an enemy, and you do share brilliant ideas and very practical at that. One would wonder, why is it so hard for them to be practically implemented and have a process lagged? But in just a minute, what are your parting shots?
Uganda, we are at the center of opportunities. What we need to do is get our leaders prioritize investments. Our leaders get involved in ensuring that the communities are involved in production. We add value to our products, but the government should provide the enabling environment, specifically the transport system. We lower cost of power. We have a railway system so that we can have lower cost of transport. We provide access to affordable financing, for especially development financing for industries, and make sure that we have what we call unique projects which we can finance as government, also in partnership with private sector, we support private sector, that we take us to the global map, and we generate a lot of revenue from those projects or businesses instead of generalizing our investment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is Dr. Chalimpa Paul. He is an entrepreneur and mobilizer investments and wealth creation for prosperity. We have been looking at the journey to Uganda's $500 billion economy by 2040. Priorities, challenges in there. And I love the practical sense that he applies to his pointers. I definitely look forward to us having him again to indeed empower us as Ugandans so as to achieve this Vision 2040. For now, let's end it here. Ruben is coming up with the sports update on Good Morning Uganda. Stay tuned.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each